Well, I'm not hearing an audible voice. It's not like saying, Bob, time to get up Monday morning and get to but it's the inner silent voice of the Holy Spirit, I think, leading you. I guess it's just the love that Christ has for me and I have for him. And he's chosen me to do this. But it's not an obedience that's based on fear. It's an obedience of joy. And I think when you're in God's will, you enjoy doing what you're doing. You know, if you're out of his will, you're miserable. So I guess if I had decided on Monday morning I'd rather play golf, I'd probably be miserable on the golf course. I should be in the hospital, but my name's Bob Eck, and we visited about 6 years ago and fell in love with the church. And a year later, my wife and I went through the membership class and decided to become covenant members, and we joined about 5 years ago and have loved it. In 1969, I was single and living alone, and in the middle of that summer night, I had my appendix rupture, and I still don't know how I did it, but I drove myself to ER at the local hospital, and I was able to get there. When I arrived, the hospital staff took me immediately into surgery, and the surgeon saved my life. I subsequently had a second operation, spent about 3 weeks in the hospital, and during that time, on a daily basis, family, friends, co-workers visited me, sat with me, encouraged me, comforted me, prayed for me. And I was so touched and moved by their compassion and their love for me, and the fact that they took a time out of their day to come and visit me. When I recovered, it was like a seed had been planted in my heart to do the same for others. And I began to visit people in the hospital. It wasn't like I made a vow. It wasn't burdensome. It was just something I enjoyed doing. And then my wife and I were in worship a few weeks ago. And in the sermon, Case said, God never wastes our personal pain and suffering, but uses us to change us, to be used by him. And when he said that, I said to myself, that's it. I now made the connection. God had ordained in his divine providence to allow me to go through that personal pain 50 years ago, to use me to reach out to others. And now that's the reason why I have that joy in my heart. You know, the sacred thing about it is that there have been a number of people I visited in the last couple years that shortly after I visited them, they died. And to think that I might have been the last person to talk to them made me feel like this is a moment of eternity, you know, that they're going into eternity to see their Lord, and to comfort them with that hope. And if they don't know him, to share the gospel with them. Yeah, I think we make things too difficult. Yeah, I haven't had any training, but I think it goes back to my experience. You know, when you experience and people have come and comforted you, it's pretty easy just to say, hey, that's easy to do. You know, the people that visit me weren't trained. They just had a love for me and reached out to me. It's really special. I really look forward to every Monday to go to the church and get my assignments and bring donuts to people.
We like that part a lot.
And if there's no one in the hospital, I go over to the widows at Westminster Towers and give them the flowers. So I've got some girlfriends at Westminster Towers. Man, we ought to put that. I don't know. You'll edit that out. So what I bring is not perfect. Yeah. In the words of Jack Peoples, I'm a crackpot. but I have a treasure in me. That's a great truth. That I'm a crackpot visiting people in the hospital, but there's a special treasure in my heart that I share with others. You'll never find out your spiritual gift just sitting in the pew and then for an hour every week and then going home and watch football. A lot of times if we just sit back, we don't know. We might think there's a gift, but if we don't begin to exercise it, we'll never know. So just get involved. Our best, we acknowledge our broken humanity and still bring our wholehearted best to every endeavor, no matter how small. We get excited about making things even better, always being reformed. Our best is not perfect, but it is an authentic expression of our flawed human gifts intended to delight a holy God.